Hello, I'm Carrion back with another video. In this video I'll be demonstrating a simple character drawing in Coral Painter, from the beginning to the end. I only use two brushes, the cover pencil and the wide stroke pen. Both of these are fairly new in my workflow, and I have mentioned the cover pencil in a previous video. It's nice for adding cross-hatching and goes from light values to dark with pressure. The wide stroke pen is great for adding really dark line and is also great for edge work. If you're using another software like Photoshop, I'm quite sure there's an equivalent, as the tools we use doesn't matter that much, and experimenting with different brushes can further expand your tool set. So as my normal process, I begin with the gesture, which gives me a roadmap to follow. This keeps me on the right road so I don't end up in the middle of nowhere, lost in the dark. Now, I loosely used reference for this drawing, meaning I found a pose but made up a costume for the character as I went along. This I noticed put a certain amount of pressure on me while making this video. I become fearful of not being able to perform while recording. Why did this happen? Because I skipped the concepting part of the process. Recording these videos has helped me identify problems in my workflow by needing to focus on the dirty work more often, even if it means taking a little longer to finish my art. I've also been following different artists more closely, examining their work from old masters to modern masters, trying to break down how did they do that. Also removing some of my stubborn nature by opening up to different techniques and mediums. Whenever I work in an unplanned matter, my mind is always working. Muscle memory is working together with instinct. At times, I'll zone in on a certain area to shadow or define a little bit more while planning out my next pencil stroke. At times, if the pedal is let off a little bit, line work becomes to suffer and I start taking shortcuts. Trying to recapture that state of concentration can be like chasing gold coins in water rapids. Ideas start to creep, and before you know it, I've wasted 45 minutes doing nothing. Time is not to be wasted. Most things come down to money and time. I hate losing time more than money. For me, money comes and goes. If you work hard and honest, money will come, but time you will lose forever. Anyone who has met me personally knows that I enjoy playing video games. These can become a time sink. Now, I'm not saying playing video games are bad or anything, but setting standards on my time playing them helps me improve and stay focused on finishing my endless number of projects. What I like to do is put my hours in during the week and then reward myself with a break if possible and get some gaming in. The same goes for movies and TV series, forcing me to keep the recreation limited. This is just a personal schedule, and I'm not saying go do it yourself. Furthermore, staying busy is the key that opens opportunities. I try using my free time wisely sometimes. It works, and other times distractions envelop me. Sometimes working into the late night is necessary for me to get through enough hours in. Enjoyment is the glue that keeps this together. I very much enjoy making these videos and any art that comes out of it. If you don't enjoy it, then it becomes a grind. For those reasons you may not succeed. Not enjoying your artwork also leads to questions. For example, why am I doing this? Am I wasting my time? You may even have these in your head already, even if you enjoy your work. I would say keep grinding it out, but try and find ways to work smarter and better. What do I mean by working smarter? Find a mentor or someone that can help you improve faster, even if you need to take a few courses or pick up a book or two. Extra education like college may not be your best route. College, as everyone knows, is expensive. Going $50 to $60,000 in debt for a piece of paper is risky for an artist. I understand its importance and ability to open doors, but is that justified? I think you can find cheaper options, certainly online, but maybe your circumstances make further education a more viable route. Personally, further education was most likely for me to learn what I wanted to at the time. The internet wasn't like it is now back in the early 2000s, so finding information on certain art programs and how to use them wasn't as transparent like it is nowadays. Now, the amount of software available and its accessibility is amazing. I'm not making excuses, instead, I'm pointing that out. Likewise, digital artists from the 90s and further back had it even more difficult. And I would say now is the great time to be an artist. New technologies are giving to digital art greater value. Let's steer back to the drawing on the screen. At this point, I'm uncertain about this drawing. My confidence is being challenged because I don't like the path. Do I move forward with further into the forest or bail? I think to myself, well, this isn't going to be for any major project or anything. It's just a simple sketch. So I decide to keep walking into the dark forest searching for ideas. It's a good discipline to keep moving in and try to finish. Finishing your art helps you find better paths in your journey the next time you reach the forest wall. If you always get stuck on the path and never reach the end, you'll never learn the best way to the end of the forest. I've recently have been working on an oil painting I was excited about in the early stages. Up until a certain point, I became unsatisfied with the results and couldn't understand why I didn't like it. I set that oil painting off to the side for several months with the intentions of finishing later. I moved on to new paintings, almost forgetting about the unfinished one. Then one day I said to myself, I'm going to start and finish that painting. Why did that happen suddenly? I don't have a clue, but perhaps my subconsciousness finished the painting for me without realizing it. I knew the color scheme and composition without thinking, fixing the problem I had months ago. The point is that if you're not on any tight schedule to finish a design or painting, then putting it to the side for a while can help. On the other hand, you may not have the luxury to do so. That so recognizing problems fast is a fantastic skill to develop. This drawing has very thick line work and lots of added shading. The line work isn't my cleanest work. I usually try to have clean line work. For a clean look, cross hatching is great if you work in ink or even pencil. Cross hatching is the process of building up values and form by intersecting lines and angles. Likewise, intersection adds shading effects to your object. I find that cross hatching is great for shading, especially for traditional art. The basic way on how to do this is to have more intersecting lines where values are the darkest and less in the lighter parts of the subject. In digital art, you can use the cross-hatching lines to overlay overcolor layers for a book style or anything else you can come up with. You can see I didn't take care of my line quality here, but it comes off as more of a rough look. This sketch can be used a first rough draft of a new character. And from here, I normally would draw a few concepts to get the final look. This particular character needs a more defined theme. She just looks very generic to me. I'm doing self critique. For me, it's become necessary for my improvement. Sitting down from a critical stance and analyzing my artwork from a distance is how I do it. Sometimes, this tough critique forces me to change major elements of the piece. It can be a real annoyance to do that. I'm sure you may have critiques of my work. I welcome them because it can help in most cases unless people are just being a jerk. Every piece of artwork will not be a success. Learning from those failures can lead to great successes. Most non creatives see the end result and never see the work that's gone into making that artwork. To clarify things, some artists are able to paint really good work almost on the fly. These are like live performances. And I'll admit, I could never do that type of art. More of a studio artist. Neither is better or worse than the other. An artist like James Gurney is very transparent about how he does all of his pre work involved before the final piece. I really enjoy seeing the work that goes into making just one painting. The process I try to follow for large works goes like Step 1 is the thumbnail concept. Here, I draw a series of thumbnails. Usually, if I have an idea, then they're more focused. Second, I choose the thumbnail and develop the details further. Here, I'll figure out for example, the kinds of trees or how does the character clothing look or whatever objects are in the scene. This is like concepting the concept. And third, I will make the final drawing. Here's where I finalize my composition and make it basically a grayscale version of the final painting. This third part should closely reflect how your painting will finally look. Here you need to clear any rough patches because if you don't, the painting will not automatically fix any mistakes. Heading into the final stages of the sketch, you may have seen some rough areas to begin with. I normally work through any frustrating parts. I really had fun with this piece, even though it may not seem like it. At this point, I don't have any intentions of adding any color. The design never called for that, and not doing a composition beforehand makes it difficult for further development. I'm never happy with any of my art. I think not settling for mediocre results is a good trait to have. I want my art to be the best. Recognizing your own faults and mistakes is also great to have. Being able to look at your newest piece and finding problems can escalate your growth. I try to compare my work with others in a healthy way. Furthermore, doing so can be devastating to your confidence if you dwell on how much better that person may be. Ultimately, yes, you do want to reach the level of those other artists, but comparing your work to your past self is actually a better way to look at it. Look at your art from 1 to 5 years ago and see if you made any improvement. I hope all of you who have reached this far into the video have enjoyed it. I'm happy to make as many of these as possible. It's kind of an experiment so far, just trying to see what works And honestly, I don't know what I'm doing with these videos, but one day I may figure it out. I have social media links below if you want to check out any of my art. And like and subscribe if you like the video. Thank you.